It's day 36 of 118 days with the Tudors, and the year is 1520. So 1520. If you remember back to a couple of days ago when we talked about 1518, or if you haven't watched that, you might want to watch that one. In 1518, Thomas Wolsey does the impossible. He unites 20 countries in a peace treaty, as well as arranging a marriage for the Princess Mary. So fast forward 2 years, 1520, Francis I of France and Henry VIII of England are going to meet to celebrate this peace treaty. They meet for a celebration lasting from the 7th to the 24th of June in 1520, and they meet in a valley just south of Calais in France. Now, we know that Henry and Francis, while also being very similar in appearance, have a little bit of a rivalry. They want to keep up with each other. They're both, young, sporty, young kings. So there's a couple of tense moments at this event. Firstly, when they first meet, they are supposed to embrace. And one historian has described this as being political theatre at its best. So it's quite a tense hug, to put it lightly. Also, and you may have seen this on Horrible Histories, they do engage in a bit of wrestling. Henry at some point, I believe, falls over or is tripped up or is pushed over. I'm not quite sure, but egos have to be kept in check, and it's very diplomatically agreed that it was actually probably a draw. Very, very evenly matched, we think. The setup of the Field of Cloth of Golds, obviously there was lots of gold cloth, but it was more than that. It was essentially a temporary palace, which I would just give anything to see. So you can see from this image here, this incredible image that was probably painted for Henry VIII, but there isn't a record of it until, oh gosh, I can't remember. I think it's about 1618, so early 17th century. You can see this on the Royal Collections website, which is really great because you can kind of like zoom in and read about lots of different details. But it's a really cool picture, so I'm going to talk about some of it. Anyway, you can see here, essentially you've got a temporary palace has been set up. It has a brickwork foundation. The structure is made of wood imported from the Netherlands, and the walls and ceiling are canvas painted to make it look like it's a real proper structure. It even has glass in the windows. Now, most houses at this time aren't lucky enough to have glass in the windows, so that in itself is pretty cool. What else have we got? Well, we have wine fountains, and you can see here, if you zoom in, there's even people fighting around there and being sick. At the back there's like a tournament yard, we can see, and there's 4 spectators. So we've got the King and Queen of France and the King and Queen of England watching. But that's not the only place Henry appears in this picture. At the front we can see Henry progressing in in procession with pretty much all of England. He's got all of the nobility with him. He's got Wolsey with him. He's got 5,000 people thereabouts with him, and a lot of the riches from England. England's just empty at this point. Catherine does come in with him in this procession, but she's not depicted doing that in the painting. She is elsewhere, potentially, in the picture. She may be in one of the tents. We also have at the back this dragon figure, possibly a salamander, and this is actually a firework. Not everyone is aware that Tudors had the fireworks, but they did, although strangely they tended to do them in the daytime, so they wouldn't have been quite as spectacular as the ones we see today. So that's the Field of Cloth of Gold. It was essentially a temporary court where there was food and music and tournaments and lots of fun to be had. And what an incredible thing for Wolsey to pull off this treaty and this amazing celebration. I mean, it's kind of in vain because 2 years later England and France are just fighting, but at this point in 1520 Wolsey is really at the pinnacle of his career here. Good job, Wolsey. I'll see you tomorrow for 1521.